Class, this is Mr. Lehman coming back to you, talking to you about Lesson 6, the language of chemistry. There were some important concepts we learned about. Elements versus compounds is one important concept. And remember, elements are pure substances. So are compounds. They're both pure. However, elements are made out of one atom type, and compounds are made out of two or more elements that are chemically combined. So it's not like Chex Mix, you can't just separate them and pick them apart, but instead these things are stuck together chemically. So let's look at some examples. An element will be something like Ti. Ti is titanium. Cu, which is copper metal. Compounds, on the other hand, have two or more things, so things like water, H2O, two hydrogens with one oxygen, and also, let's see, sodium hydroxide, which we use in our penny lab. Notice, compounds, you have two or more things, two here, three here, chemically combined. Elements, one thing by itself. And so if you took an element, let's say you took titanium, or you took gold, or you took copper, and you beat it with a hammer, and you smash it into smaller and smaller pieces, you couldn't break it down into anything smaller except for the small atoms making it up. So gold, the smallest thing you could break it down into is tiny, tiny gold atoms. We had symbols. So instead of writing titanium or writing copper, this will be what we call the chemical symbols. The first letter is always capitalized. The second letter is always lowercase. Some things like hydrogen and oxygen only have one letter. First letter is always capitalized, second letter, third letter, if it exists, is lowercase. And then we can have things like chemical formulas. And chemical formulas represent compounds. So here's water. Water's chemical formula is H2O. And if it's a solid, let's say it's ice, solids have an S in parentheses, saying it's a solid. If it's sodium hydroxide, it could be aqueous. That means it's a solid dissolved in water. If you see an L, that means it's a liquid. If you see a G in parentheses, that means it's a gas. So by looking to see what's in parentheses, it'll tell you what state of matter, what phase is that substance in. Solid, liquid, gas, or is it a solid dissolved in water, which is aqueous. The final thing about this unit, this lesson in the unit, the final thing is these little numbers here. These little numbers, like this 2, is what we call a subscript. It's a number that is below the line. Subscripts tell us how many of an atom we have. So H2, that 2 tells us we have 2 hydrogens, 2 H's. Now you don't see a number after O, and the reason why is because scientists like to take the easiest possible route, and they don't put 1 after. So if there's just 1 of it, instead of writing just 1, we don't write the 1. We just leave it blank. So if you don't see a number after a chemical symbol, assume that there is 1 of that atom. Looking at sodium hydroxide, we don't see any numbers here, so we assume we have 1 sodium, 1 oxygen, and 1 hydrogen. So let me know if you have any other troubles. Hopefully this helps, and good luck to you.